Yeah, I'm gonna move to Siberia. I'm gonna go to Irkutsk and open a clinic for insane syphilitic people, and it's very depressing work. So I, slowly slide into binge drinking vodka every day. And before you know it, I'm on the crocodile, and I'm smoking red phosphorus and crack out of an apple in the backyard of the syphilitic clinic. Out of an apple.
Pretty good.
Okay, that's just a life plan for you?
I think that's kind of my late 20s, the direction I want to pivot into, yeah. Help people, destroy myself. It's and Putin's going to pay me like $30 billion to do it for some reason. I don't even know why.
For the listener, we have a journalistic obligation to report to you that Putin has made no such statement at this time.
Yeah, the Internet Research Council, proud sponsor of 30-Minute Worlds.
We may be a podcast, but we have journalistic integrity. And I want you to know that I've not heard from my sources that Vladimir Putin is planning to pay any American national $30 million to smoke red phosphorus out of an apple in Irkutsk.
It just hits different.
Isn't this just the plot to the Nick or something? I'm pretty sure this is just the plot to the Nick.
No, it's not. That's entirely different.
Which Nicktoon is this the plot
to?
It's the season
probably
premiere.
Hey Arnold, actually.
Actually,
I guess maybe Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
That's the season premiere of season 478 of SpongeBob.
My parents never let me watch any cable TV. We didn't have it. I guess never let me watch is a wrong term for they didn't buy cable, and I felt butthurt about that.
Yeah, my parents never let me smoke crack, even though it was all over the house growing up.
It's all over town, yeah.
Oh. By the way, speaking of journalistic integrity, I feel like I should probably let the listeners know that Dan does actually have a football-shaped head. It's about yay large.
He also wears a kilt. He got confused looking at the Arnold character model.
No, that's not a kilt.
It's a plaid shirt that comes through.
That's true.
So he wears a kilt.
Yeah, while we're revealing things about members of the show, Belvin grew out a beard recently, and we had a private forum on it, a private referendum, and we'll be sending pictures of the beard actually to all our fans, so they can vote in on what their friend Belvin is doing.
Right.
Himself.
You can also say whatever permutation you want. If you want like a mutton chop thing going on, the Van Dyke. If you want a Dolly mustache situation.
Well, the fun thing now is that Belvin has pivoted his webcam so that his beard is no longer on screen.
That wasn't intentional.
But it fits, buddy.
Yeah. Everyone else has gotten made fun of this. Somebody, no one pay attention to me. Let's make fun of Belvin.
You're right. Let's make fun of Belvin.
Yeah,
Do it some
this
more.
is now a roast Belvin podcast.
You thought I would take the bait to make fun of Belvin, and I did. It worked. It was smart.
Well played, good sir.
Yes, gentlemen. This is 30-Minute Worlds, a podcast with four friends where we build a fantasy or sci-fi world in 30 minutes or more, based off of 3 random prompt words. I'm Walter Kunkel. With me, as always, Belvin Olasov, Zach Chessman, Daniel Kennedy. And tonight we're going to get into it, rolling to see who the lore lad is going to be, who, as a reminder for the listeners, has absolute creative control over the setting, and gets to veto ideas that we might bring forward. I've rolled a 1. That is Chessman.
Oh,
okay.
It's been a minute, I feel like.
Swinging back.
It's been a while. You hope you're ready for a weird episode.
Yeah.
God. Hey, you don't have to think of a prompt word now.
I'm very glad.
Yeah, listeners, if you're wondering why this episode is an hour shorter than normal, it's because the lore lad Zach doesn't have to pick prompt word this episode.
My prompt word is normal.
Is that it?
Normal.
Okay, we have normal from Belvin. Dan, how about you?
My prompt word is game.
Your prompt word is game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the thing you don't have.
Damn. I'll edit that out.
Got it.
My prompt word is gold.
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 Silver and
Yeah.
gold.
Normal, game, gold. So, of course, what immediately comes to mind is this entire setting of gold farmers in World of Warcraft. Where everyone's a gold farmer. Everyone's farming gold.
Okay.
So your setting is just modern China?
Now, us
Yes.
pillaging the IP World of Warcraft, do you think as expert, you the lore lad, will that open us up to any legal potential bad shit? Or are we free to just
No.
wing it?
No, Blizzard's going to be dead by the time this podcast
right.
comes out, so I think
What
it
am I
should be
thinking?
fine.
Well, taking that dynamic, so let's summarize what the gold farmer dynamic is. It's folks in a place that's not as wealthy as a different place, playing a game for money because that disparity is so big. And they just farm the game. They don't have any fun with it.
So, Squid Game.
Yeah, I just watched Squid Game before this.
And you have the audacity to come in here and say game.
I'm so mad at you guys
so
for fucking... Because I wanted to do an episode where we were like... The bit of the episode would be that we were like forced into making Squid Game Season 2, having never watched Season 1. And we would just spend an episode outlining what would happen in Squid Game Season 2.
So obviously the squid has to come back.
Yeah, like shit like that. It'd be very funny.
No,
like we don't
hold
know
on,
any of the
hold on.
actors' names or any of the characters. We're just like the other Korean guy.
This is a good point. There's not nearly enough squids in Squid Game. It blows me away.
We're getting
actually.
off track.
I don't
I
understand.
shouldn't have to rein in the lore lad. This is flagrantly unprofessional.
Actually, it's kind of fun to make you do it because we have to do it to you. So, if gold is like a currency, right? And I mean, it could be about gambling, right? But we've done a gambling world or two, haven't we?
We've done explicitly gambling.
We've done a couple gambling worlds.
You just hold up money? What is that?
Yeah, wait a minute. How much money are you holding in your hand right
It's
now?
not that much.
Listeners,
Yeah.
Walter just has like apparently $100 bills on hand to hold up to the camera.
I think that was $7.
$8.
$8.
Yeah,
Damn it.
$8. Okay.
You were
Okay,
close,
that's $8. So let's look at this from the other angle. Let's look at this from the other angle because you're going from gold game. Actually, the first thing that I thought of was the word normal is sort of makes me think that there's something about this world that everyone takes for granted as completely normal that is not normal at all. Which is maybe it's this gold game or whatever. Maybe it's this game of gold.
Maybe.
What about okay, how about a world where you can't earn money like through a traditional job? Everybody is born with like a set amount of money, and the only way you can make money is by gambling against other people in games.
Interesting.
Like you have a net worth assigned to you at birth, and you can't actually earn it through labor.
How is it assigned to you? By what authority?
You
Magical or technocracy or what?
You get your parents' money combined, what their worth is.
Okay.
And this has been going on. Or I mean, that could be a thing, or it could be like I don't know. There's
I have an idea. What if this is like an Olympus type afterlife? So you've died, you have whatever your material possessions were, like maybe it's like the Egyptian system where whatever you're buried with is what you have. And then it's just like games. The great never-ending games.
I do like the idea of an afterlife as kind of a theme park, and the tokens that you enter the theme park with are based off shit you did when you were alive.
Right.
And that is the currency. It's a points-based system that you use to spend on cotton candy and shit of the afterlife.
Okay.
Man, I just know that I will not have enough gold for the fast pass.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna. I'm gonna have more than you, and that's I'm going to hell, dude.
But it's fine because when you are in heaven, you can get more. You just have to play like it's like pay to skip, right? You did really well in the real world.
Yeah, you have to play very fair games like the ring toss and guess that guy's weight or whatever.
The one where they nail the bowling pins to the wall.
Well,
and try
hang
to
on. Let's
knock them
decide
down.
though. I don't know if we want to tie ourselves down to an amusement park. I don't.
Oh no! I'm in my head. I'm thinking like when I say games, there might be like chintzy little stuff like that, but I'm thinking like Coliseum type stuff, like the games, Olympic kind of Greco-Roman.
Oh, so everyone's naked. Okay.
Everyone is oiled up.
Okay.
Lubed up. All right.
And slippy nude.
I do personally know that like the only afterlife I would ever be happy in is if it was like an eternity of play, basically. Of like games and just like horseplay and shit. That's like the only joy I could find in the afterlife, really.
Because also there's a thing in the afterlife with if the afterlife is all people still doing good works for whatever deity, that doesn't really jive with what's actually happening.
Right.
I'm getting strong flashbacks to like youth group in middle school where there's this song they would sing about what heaven was like, and it was like a big house with a big yard where we could all play football and sing songs.
Touchdown. And then when you say football, people say touchdown, and then it's a big house. It's their father's house.
You know,
I see
actually,
you are familiar.
that was the cause of the schism between Catholicism and Orthodoxy was they couldn't agree on the size of the yard of the afterlife.
They also, it's the reason we broke from the Church of England is because we couldn't decide on American football or British football.
Muhammad came along and he's like, "There's a den in the house." We were like 10,000 years of war. There's no den in this fucking house.
So I guess I'm the one who's keeping this on the rails. So what if I think we want the afterlife to not be like our afterlife, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
It's kind of interesting if it's like, you know, there's sort of a world we don't see that people are being funneled in from. And what if there's like different kinds of currency? Like what if there's moral currency?
Okay.
Right? So like good deeds are rewarded, but only in that way.
Well, hang on. It's not different kinds of... Is it just all the gold, but different experiences and different things give you that one currency, or is
I think it's multiple types
your lived
of
experience. Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Like it's more interesting, I think, if like the guy who's buried in the vault of all the riches of his country brings something over, but a very different thing than the person.
Yeah, there's like an achievement currency, and then there's the actual moral currency you get for being a good person.
Right.
And they're two separate systems that can buy different skins that you wear in the Coliseum. Yeah.
So now what I'm thinking of now, right, is we have this sort of game, these games that happen in all like in the Olympic Games, right? You have teams. Mm-hmm. They are your nations, but clearly that's not going to stick around for the afterlife. Like, especially because, you know, nations come and go, and there's going to be like it's going to be weird. So, what are the teams? I guess
I actually
just
started
recruiting.
I actually
boys.
Wait, what?
The lads.
Afterlife is for the boys.
I actually just had a thought that's kind of like Philip K. Dick, but what if we take this in a more normal direction? And this is actually an approximation of the afterlife we've built. That's a video game.
That's a VR.
And it's kind of, and so it's kind of like Second Life. And when you die, your relatives can input enough information about you, and maybe you have like an AI uplink that can make a little character of you that then your relatives can log on and play with you and kind of talk with you, or a facsimile of you in this game.
I
and it's an
dearly
approximation of the afterlife.
I really hope that this never happens in real life. I really hope that never happens. That's horrible. I hate that.
Future.
Oh my god. This is literally what Mark Zuckerberg is trying to do right now.
This is the plot to some show, but I don't remember what it is, and I'm glad because I'd be spoiling it to say.
Good, we're better.
I
than
liked the show, but whatever.
What do we think of this idea?
I'm into it.
I'm
into it.
I can roll with it.
Because then it actually turns the like things you can buy for your relatives into like you can obviously your living relatives can spend real world dosh like money on in-game currency for you. A dead person who's being controlled by a robot.
That once you introduce like the real money transaction thing, it becomes dystopian and gross. Well,
okay, what if it's more noble than that? Yeah. What if, in absence of... due to public outcry, they tabled the, like, big microtransaction-y stuff that was going on in the afterlife, and now they introduced, like, this achievement system, like you had mentioned earlier, the two types of currency. Moral currency, which you would have to track throughout your life, using basically, like, constant location tracking software to, like, read whatever the fuck it is you're doing at all times. And then achievement-based currency, which is kind of evaluated on a holistic scale when you're put into the game.
Maybe it's because my brain is fucked up, but I can't picture this without fucking capitalist like fuckery involved.
I know, but
this
is the thing. This is the thing. I have to get out ahead of this and make it a capitalist fuckery that's actually going to be fine. Because in our day and age, we are, when we have things that are free to us, everything we use that's free to us, we are the product, right?
Yeah.
If you go on, Facebook is free because they sell metrics to companies.
Right.
So what this would basically be is they wouldn't charge people for it because it is an incredible resource of knowledge, and also testing. You can get pretty fucking horrifying with it if you start thinking about like, oh, let's get a bunch of people together, let's copy them into an environment, and let's test something on them, and let's delete them afterwards.
If you're dead, can you offer consent to be put in the game? Yes,
I hate this so much.
That's pretty horrible.
I have an angle.
Yeah, what is it, Belden?
Cherry on top. What if this world is ruled over by actually benevolent robot overlords?
Okay.
Who have the computing power both to track all of that moral shit, and to create a VR afterlife. Like they and their benevolence, they have created this for the humanity that they rule over.
I think a big part of it is that humans are allowed to like go into the afterlife some way, like in game, and see people who passed, like. Because that would be what people would want. And if it is a video game, then you should probably, like, they would market it to people who are still alive, too.
Well, the robots aren't marketing. Part of my idea is that the, like, benevolent robots and AI that actually just wants us to live life and then, like, actually live on in a very cool afterlife situation.
Yeah, and there would be a lot of fun shit to do.
So the Matrix.
That's
Matrix.
one interpretation. That's one interpretation of what the architect said in the Matrix 2, I think, or 3. That's one interpretation.
Look, I may have just finished watching Blade Runner 2049 12 times in a row, but this sounds bad. I'm sorry, I don't know. I would be so mad.
I think we can run with Belvin's idea because, Daniel, you and I both know how fucked up this concept actually is if we put any legs on it.
I think something that's important is to give the robots a selfish reason to be benevolent, which is, of course, that if they weren't managing this afterlife for humanity, they would be at war with humanity. So this is what
they give to us as a peace offering.
What an AI that achieved sentience decided was the best thing to do was to offer something to humans that they could never achieve themselves.
So instead of committing genocide against us, they've trapped us in an unending digital world.
You get to live life first.
Hold on, Dan. We have to talk about the hats. This is more important. We have to talk about the cool hats.
This is more important.
We have to talk about the cosmetics. We have to talk about how you can buy a potion that you drink and you can change your appearance.
Oh wait, can I get like a sick, like an admiral's hat, like a British admiral's hat?
No, that's day one. That would be in there.
Yeah.
All right, I've actually changed my mind about the settings.
Launch day.
Yeah.
You can go in VR with your grandson who doesn't understand you because you speak Slovak and he's like now second generation immigrant to the United States.
You would just get somebody in there to translate for you.
Exactly.
You would get another dead person as a translator.
Well, there'd be text that appears when you're talking to bridge the language barrier because you and your ancestors wouldn't necessarily speak the same shit most of the time.
Right. Oh, how long has this been running?
Probably it would start up in our near future, I would say.
Okay.
And so it's the far future. It's been in place for a long time.
The name of the VR? Meta.
Meta.
Is that the new name of Facebook? I need to know what the new name of Facebook is. Okay.
So topical. It came out today.
It is funny. You know,
I still don't believe it. That's so stupid.
Yeah, I know. What is scary about this universe, too, is that they can petition or basically like object. They can deny anyone entry to the afterlife based off of PR as well.
Oh.
Yeah. Think about that. If it is a robot or like some company working with robots, I think the robots were the people who were smart enough to envision it and build it, and the humans do the movement of capital in and out of the system, and also like the administration of it.
Well,
from a business angle.
So what we've created, of course, what this is now. This is the robots are God. Well, the robots are deciding who gets into the afterlife.
You can veto that, but I think the humans also have some say on who gets into the afterlife, and it wouldn't necessarily be fair to people.
I think that the robots would probably listen to pleas. I don't think it would be I don't think they would abide a sort of structure to how they like. There isn't like one person on Earth whose job it is to bargain with the robots. Mm-hmm. That would no.
And he's played by Keanu Reeves. So basically, if you get canceled by the robots, you don't get to go to robot heaven.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I'm trying to think about what would be. There are cool elements because like you could see how your ancestors lived, like based off like reconstructions of your genetic memory or whatever, like Assassin's Creed bullshit. You could build like worlds to explore for yourself. Yeah, you just be in
Valheim with your grandpa. It wouldn't go back that far because you can't get the consciousnesses of people who were long, long dead. But in a certain way, from a modern corporate perspective, that's good because you don't want a bunch of slave owners in the VR saying a bunch of bad words. Yeah. So you frankly like don't. You're pulling for. We would be the oldest generation really to enter into it. Probably.
I finally arrive at something I think is cool about this, and Walt. You immediately dispel.
I'm just sitting here like, you made it dystopian again.
Well, what do you want? You want a bunch of robots that make a magical afterlife for us, and then we just talk about that for 15 more minutes?
Yeah, because there's
what's cool about that?
No.
This is the two halves of the 30-minute
yin and yang. Yeah.
So what's cool about another tech dystopia?
I don't know.
Everyone just spun this out when they watched Mark Zuckerberg talk today.
Look, I
would love. Episode
It honestly is the funny part.
I would love to make a healing show about the like tech afterlife that we all get to go to, but I can't make that healing show without a lot of undercurrents of horrible, terrible realities happening in the background.
It's so bad that you can't like make it look good even when you like stretch it.
Well, like even when it looks good, that's just like the propaganda poster that the robots from the Matrix like feed
but imagine
humanity.
actual moral robots. Imagine robots.
I am imagining moral robots. It's boring. They suck.
So okay, here's what's good about this. Here's what makes this a very good deal for humanity. 1, gods that listen and respond. 2, an afterlife that you know exists.
Yeah, no doubts. It is real.
3, rich people can shut the fuck up because they can buy a little bit of extra space in afterlife.
Well, they have private servers, but it's fine.
So we can go into the next world and it's the same as it is.
No,
right
it's 0G and you're in Fortnite.
It's not that much better.
Like
it's just
a good afterlife to me.
Don't you want Jeff Bezos to have a private server so you don't have to fucking deal with him? I just want him gone. Like, if he can have his own place with his own thing.
That's where I would go with making an afterlife interesting, is like giving different realms, like different partitioning off different types of folks. Because one afterlife fits all doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah, some people get to live in separate but equal servers called ghettos.
There could be like a legislative movement or like bill that was passed that's like you have to give pardoned criminals or like criminals who like serve out their sentences or who die in prison, you can't discriminate against them. They have to be in the afterlife. And the robots were like, okay, but we're going to put them on separate fucking server.
Yeah, they go into a PvP server.
It's the prison server. Oh my god.
And it's just like they don't get to see like a lot of the people they knew who were alive. That would be the appeal of this too, right? Because in old age, you get separated from a lot of people that you knew when you were young. You don't necessarily know all your high school friends. But in the afterlife, it would theoretically be very easy to link up with them once you're all dead and gone and like be like, hey, we should catch up. Maybe let's vape in 0G.
Or join a squad for the many games.
Let's squad up for the many entertainment offerings here.
We're going to do some Battle Royale.
Activision Blizzard's Afterlife.
Wait, no, fuck this whole thing. Every part of the Afterlife is Battle Royale. It's just like 1 billion different Fortnite islands.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys, but this one is just like, I can't make it not horrible in my brain.
No, that's a good instinct because...
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I actually think that this would if this was real, I'd be okay with it. Is the kind of
I don't know that I would
thing.
Because go
on.
On.
You just want blackness? You just want nothing?
No, it's because the people
That's
that
what I
are
want.
being uploaded, you have no idea whether they're real people or thinking machines. They're not the same people that lived and died. In a sense, they're still in the blackness, and it's some AI approximating their mannerisms and their like lived memories to try and imitate that person.
Right.
Yeah.
You always
for
have to
a capitalist
wonder...
reason.
The robots hacked God and got access to the data files of souls. So
no matter how good the simulacrum is, there's always the doubt of is this the same as the original? Like, if it's a perfect recreation of someone's brain, is it perfect? And how could we ever know?
Yeah.
There's that sense of dread. There's the other sense of dread of like, what if, like, how is this really going to be sustainable? Like, why is this here?
Yeah, certain countries have completely outlawed it too. Like theocracies, It would be a huge threat to like spiritualism. Yeah.
What it is like, I do think that there are ways to take this into the future that would be like, this is humanity's path to the future, because like if the planet's not sustainable anymore, for instance, they could upload all of their consciousnesses into robots, into robots using this technology, and then shoot out to another planet, another solar system, as our sun dies. That's cool. That's like not an apocalypse. That's like an averted apocalypse, right?
Life hack.
I'm just trying to make Dan feel better.
I appreciate it. It's not working.
I know.
Oh.
Dan, tell us some of your thoughts about this setting.
I mean, I get, to be honest with you guys, I don't really find the idea of an afterlife appealing, like, in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, and especially with how techie this is, I am actually really struggling to separate it from, like, some horrible dystopia. And that's probably a sign of mental illness.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all.
I
So
think
there's a rogue AI. There's
Okay.
rogue AI in the system.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it is
Now you're speaking my
actively
language.
abducting consciousnesses into its like private net, and it is giving them, it is torturing them forever.
Okay.
Ooh.
How's that feel?
That seems more appropriate.
Yeah, okay.
You may not have your utopia, Belv.
No, that's good. I like this.
Yeah.
Robot
But,
Bell.
yeah.
A Dark Zuckerberg, it's called.
I don't. Zach, maybe you need to weigh in on the name.
And that's our show.
No.
Oh,
So
man.
what? Hang on. So we talked a bit about factions that would exist in this universe, explicitly in the game world. Is it a traversable space, like on foot, or is it kind of like loading screens, or do you just like jump to kind of wherever you want?
Well, it's not like Second Life, because that's corny as shit.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably be something like where, well, to make it have the most like sense of presence, you would probably want the physics of the world to be as normal as possible, where you're walking around, and like if you want to go somewhere else, you pull up a menu, you somehow have like a portal device
maybe once
that you
you
go somewhere
progress
else.
really far in the afterlife, and that's something that I think we should talk through, is how much progression is core to video games.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're talking about actual infinity, is there like a refresh? Like, do you get to God mode
You
and then
prestige, and you have to start from the beginning
and
again.
just reset so you forget
Well,
everything?
what I think there would be like a role play server where it's an approximate creation of like your city, and then you just go about your life when you're all burnt out of the afterlife, like you did before you died. And it's a bunch of AIs pretending to be human, taking the bus every day to go to work.
Okay,
The
well,
most
actually,
depressing concept
all right, if we're talking about progression,
horrifying.
what if, and it's very tied into game and normal. What if when you're born into the world, you start out, and it is a world of play, and you're starting it with very basic play, like almost like children's games, but taken to like cosmic proportions, like I don't know, like tag, but everybody has superpowers, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then as you continue to progress, you get more and more complex games. Like you can build worlds to see. Like you can create universes and watch everything play out like in real time. And then eventually you work through the content that's available to you in the afterlife, and you do it like again. But this time you get a cool gold star next to your username.
Do you remember that you did it before, or do you just reset?
I think you get the option of do you forget or do you remember?
No, here's the thing. Once you get to the end of this track, right? You've done all of the content that's available to you. You now know how to use this afterlife. You can create now. And so what this is like a gigantic network of creativity where you have like everyone's dream worlds are there. There's like things people collaborate. What I'm talking about is everyone has their own Minecraft server.
Sounds like what you're talking about is Gmod, which is
Yes.
Yeah, that's the jail. The jail people go to the Gmod type stuff.
If I would play Prop Hunt in the afterlife all fucking day.
Yeah.
It would be fantastic. I'd
That
have
would
so
be
much
fun.
being a little
I
water
think it's
barrel.
less about progression and more about connectivity, connecting to people you've lost,
Right.
and then also like people who are ostensibly living in this afterlife, be they real souls that have carried on through serendipity into this universe, or be they the closest approximation of a post-death person you can have. I think it's about them reconnecting with people they once knew, and will see presumably in heaven again, and connecting with people they never would have gotten the chance to see in their lifetimes, their great-great-great-grandchildren. There is something beautiful about this in a way.
Well, that's the whole promise of the
Right.
Christian afterlife, is that, yes, you will be reunited with your loved ones.
Yeah.
Like, that's the core. But when you think about infinity, though, the bloom would be off that rose in 100 digi years.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Not even to mention, I mean, powering a game for infinity amount of time.
Right. Infinity is not necessarily in the cards, of course, right? It's there's going to be more and more people coming into it. It is not necessarily a sustainable thing. So I think what ends up happening in an egalitarian system is that this afterlife is a way, like, people who have been there the longest, like, they'll slowly start to, like, elect to not be. There will certainly be some people who will, like, you know, I've had enough, and I'm sort of, like, fading away from this mortal plane, right? And so they turn into, like, this sort of specter that can be summoned up by the program, but they don't want to stick around as, like, a complete, like, all the time. They don't want to stick around all the time. And if people don't want to do that, then I think I think that would be a problem. I think that would be a problem, because I do think there's a large number of people, like, I'm pretty sure that when I get to, like, if I was to live to 100 years old, I'd be like, I'm done. Like, kill me, I'm dead.
Not even that far.
Yeah, well, I know I set my sights a little bit further than you, Dan.
Yeah, anything past, like,
shade.
27, 28 years old.
Did you say the same if you lived in Fortnite?
Yeah, anything further than 12, 13 years old. Yeah, no, I mean, I get what you mean. So do people get to leave?
This is the question, because the dead people, they're technically owned by their AI creations, and the draw of people using this afterlife, living people using it, is they're paying to connect with their dead relatives, and the dead relatives are monetizable. And so you get into issues of, if you are an AI created by this thing, can you consent to, like, leave, right? Or can you even leave? Are they going to build in a mechanism for you to do it? I don't think they would, because you are essentially kind of what the upkeep of the game is paid by people who are not yet dead coming into it to, like, hang out with people who are.
So what I think would happen if you wanted to leave, they would be like, you can go on a hiatus, but if somebody wants to come talk to you, like, we're going to bring you back up.
Yeah, God, that's terrifying.
Yeah. So if you're someone like fucking Van Gogh,
fuck.
if you're, like, a famous person, you're trapped there fucking forever.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing is, let's say you're someone who's very high in demand.
Yeah.
Do they split your consciousness?
Well,
do they make copies of
they
you?
can make copies, right?
Yeah, but they wouldn't ever.
God.
They would, and they would all be different. Oh my God.
What a horrible...
Yeah.
This is the worst world we've ever come up with.
No, we built bad ones before.
I would rather live in the sun theft world than this one.
Yeah.
And this is the worst part. This is where we are going in our real world.
Oh no, they could pitch this and people would immediately, like, be on board for it. They'd be putting the chips on tomorrow to fucking go into the... Hell, our phones are probably recording us right now so that they can, like, extrapolate this in the far future. We didn't even opt into it, but it's like, based off your
analytics,
based off in 2012 when you clicked on the renew contract with iTunes, we actually are now allowed to digitally recreate you in an afterlife of our making.
if there's some 20-year-old MBA wannabe Elon Musk type out there listening to this and thinking this is a great idea,
kill yourself.
You need to check yourself into a psychiatric hospital immediately.
Speaking of, can I get the last word?
Yeah, go for it.
You'll walk us out. The metaverse is the next evolution of social connection. It's a collective project that will be created by people all over the world and open to everyone. You'll be able to socialize, learn, collaborate, and play in ways that go beyond what's possible today.
Is that their literal copy?
That's the copy from Facebook, yeah.
Well, folks, that's our show.
Oh, I hate that so much.
If you like this episode, you can subscribe to us on your podcasting service of choice to get new episodes every other Saturday. If you want, go ahead and write us a review on iTunes and share us with all your world-building friends. It really helps us out. Our art is courtesy of the talented and wonderful Shel Tor at Jovial Paradox on Twitter. You can tweet at us too at LoreLads or send us spirited hate mail at 30minuteworlds@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy world building.